Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. I am your host, Charles Stewart, along with Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams. We're here every Monday morning to answer your question, and we can have a conversation about our country, about our community. Church Without Walls, the show was designed with you in mind, that Christian people can get together and talk about our community and what affect us in our everyday life. Every week we're here to listen to you, and we always promise that if we can't answer your question this week, next week we promise you we will have an answer. It may not be the one that you want, but we will give you an answer the next week. It's a beautiful day outside, and we want to thank God for letting us be a part of it. On my way here, I passed by the funeral home, and as you view all the cars, the people pulling up, you say it could have been me. So I thank God that He allowed me to be here. And Dr. William and myself, we've been coming to you. God let us come here every Monday morning. So far, He have gave us our health and strength and wisdom and knowledge and understanding that we able to function every day. So we so grateful to God that He have allowed us to be here. I think this is our last show before 2021 come in. But we want to thank Him for 2020. And most of all, we want to thank Him for what He have done and what He going to do in our life. We have had some outstanding guests this week, and we thank God for them. They many judges, many community people. So we hope that we have provided a service that the community love, and hope that we have made a difference in your life some type of way. Church Without Wall, we always remind you that you are the church, and the wall that's standing our way. Together we can make it happen. So today we have a good show, and again, before I go any further, I want to thank all of the guests that have came on, and most of all, thank you for listening and watching. We love you so much, and we want to thank you. And today in the studio, we have the president of St. Charles
John,
Parish.
St. John.
The president of the NAACP is just Miss Shondrell Perrilloux. And before she comes, Dr. William, you are in the comment before we gonna get into that, because Shondrell seemed to be a talker. I never interviewed her before, but seems like she ready to go. We're gonna find out what's going on in her parish, St. John, and the thing that they go and object to. Dr. William, you have any comment?
Well, she's from a parish that I am from originally, St. John the Baptist Parish. And we're going to let her have like the open mic so she can go ahead on and uh, say what she have to say and rebuke whatever she need to rebuke.
Okay,
So it's your day.
okay, Sandra, would you like to tell the people who you are? I know you have I know you're an entrepreneur. I know you have a couple of construction company along with being a president. You want to tell the people who you are?
First of all, I would give my extended appreciation for your invitation of an open platform, for allowing us to utilize this platform on this morning to share very pertinent and information to the public. So I humbly appreciate you all for allowing me to be present today on the platform. I felt compelled to come out. I went over a previous show that I was very interested in, just to give you all a little background of who I am. I'm Prophetess Shondrell Perrilloux. I am an ordained spiritual minister. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm Perrilloux by birthright bloodline. Um, I'm a woman of many hats. I multitask a lot. I'm the owner of several construction companies, residential, commercial builder. I'm an accountant and a business administrator, inclusive of being the newly installed president of St. John the Baptist Parish NAACP. For those of you who all are not aware of the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, it was established in 1909 through W.E. Du Bois, Ada Mae Wells, and some other groups of people that came up with the idea to create a civil rights movement that was inclusive of all persons. Particularly at that moment, it was for black people, colored people, Negroes. Well, St. John the Baptist Parish NAACP was established in 1940, and it was led by Edward Hall, um, who was at the age of 35 years old, grew up in Reserve. The National Association of Advancement of Colored Persons have been established for well over 111 years to date. Its origins trace back to New York. The former presidents of the NAACP of St. John the Baptist Parish are Edward Hall, George Clark, Dale Wolf, Michael Carter, Leonard Triplett, Robert Taylor II, and presently myself, Shondrell Perrilloux, who has been elected the first black woman parish of St. John president of NAACP. As president, I'm most passionate about economic advancement of the disadvantaged and underprivileged persons. My unique skills and abilities qualify me to lead the newly revived NAACP in St. John the Baptist Parish. Among my gifts is to be a voice for the voiceless. I intend to create programs to better assist our people, all people of color, no matter what walk of life, to create an opportunity for equal opportunity. We intend to establish the first of a very few legal defense funds in St. John the Parish, Baptist Parish, to assist with competent legal representation to ensure that the civil rights are upheld. The Legal Defense Fund will be one of the very few within Louisiana NAACP chapter. Branch 6077 has a rich history within St. John the Baptist Parish. Edward Hall and Thurgood Marshall removed the racial barriers at local registers of voters. The act set a precedent that spread throughout the South, and in 1944, the lawsuit filed by Mr. Edward Hall and Thurgood Marshall in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal paved way for black voting rights. Today, the NAACP advocates for equal opportunities in 6 core areas: economic sustainability, high quality health care, equal treatment in the criminal justice system, voting rights, political representation, and expanding the youth and young adult engagement. The NAACP is not just for African American, it's for all persons of colors that deal with any inequality. The goal is to provide opportunities for people in the community regardless of your race. As of February 15, 2020, our branch reactivated with over 107 members to date. Our primary focus is to hold local government accountable to ensure that the residents of St. John the Baptist Parish are given equal and fair opportunities. We intend to uphold the core mission of the NAACP. Our mission is to ensure political, educational, social, economic equality of rights of all persons and to eliminate racial hatred and racial discrimination.
Okay, we're going to take a break at this point here. For those who are listening, watching, tell your friend to download the app, www. New Orleans Talk Network, and we remind our listeners again that we're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So you can download your app, www. New Orleans Talk Network. And if you would like to call the show, you can dial 1-563-999-1808. We'll be back.
Yeah, just have to get that introduction so we can get.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We need to stand up and fight, walk into the light. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody ask me, why do we have to go through it?
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Yep, yep.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
But to address your concern. If you don't mind, please share and invite you. Okay.
We are back. You are tuning to the New Orleans Talk Network. Our show is Church Without Walls. We're in the studio every Monday morning, 11 to 12. Charles Stewart and the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams. And we're privileged to have as our guest this morning is Shondrell Perrilloux. And she is the new elected president of St. John the Baptist Parish NAACP president. And she come with a lot of knowledge and a lot of information. And we thank her for being on the show today. And we have technical difficulty right now, and I was brought up in the church, and in the church they always say when you're doing something good, the devil gets busy. So they used to say ain't nobody mad when stuff happens like this but the devil. So we're not gonna blame the devil. We just gonna say that we have a technical problem today, but we're going to work it out. And the day is just one day, and we're going to go through with the show. We're going to record it, and to our viewers, and the good thing about the New Orleans Talk Network, you can tune in anytime you please to listen or watch it. So we're going to go ahead on with the program. We're not going to let nothing stop up. Shondrell, we were talking earlier about your position in St. John's Parish and you and done told our listening audience your goals and objectives and your plan, and I'm quite impressed with what you plan on doing out there. Economica, that's a big thing that I'm a part of, and that's in the African American community. I always used to say that they have too many social and pleasure groups and not enough economic group, and so you seem to want to do both.
Right.
So you're bound. So I'm happy to hear that, and also uh, some of the things do you do out there? I don't think they have enough youth movement in organization to educate our young kids, and we don't give them our history. I know this other group, they Caucasian, whatever Hispanic group, that they put a lot of attention program for the young kids, and they have a teaching section like once a month, once a week. They bring their kids in and they tell them about their history. And I find in the African American community, we don't do that a lot. I'm not saying they don't do it, but I'm not aware of them doing. Do y'all have any such program out in St. John Parish like that?
Well, COVID came and discombobulated a couple of our setback, a couple of our plans, but yes, we do have a vision in place to hold retention of our youth, especially in February. We were anticipating reaching out to the high schools and junior high schools the month of February to provide them historical information on the true Negro history, the true people of color history. Nevertheless, yes, I really gave you a broad mission statement of the NAACP, but I just want to, clarify things that I looked at and I studied from the history from our forerunners, such as Dr. King and Malcolm X. Make me no mistake, I've been an activist since the age 3 years old. From the church, from civil rights for community action, one of the youngest persons sitting on one of the most historical lawsuit that relocated narco community in 1988, Shell relocation program that allowed us to relocate narco residents. I was 10 years old sitting on that board, so I was one of the persons that was a major key player in the organizing with the elders to bring that vision to pass. Unfortunately, it allowed us to move from our home, which is narco, back to our other home, which is St. John the Baptist Parish. However, but the point that I'm trying to make is that when I've learned, if I'm going to be a leader, I need to study the actions of our past elders and to learn and question myself to say, what lesson have you learned from Dr. King? And one thing that stood out to me was before his life was taken untimely from him, he made the statement, I'm afraid, and as I paraphrase, I'm ashamed, I'm afraid, I believe I have led my people into a burning house. See, so many times in the past, our elders were so tempted about the social reparation of our people. And they didn't spend as much time in really examining the economical reparation of our people. People, one thing we need to understand is that we don't need your social economics, your social reparation. What we need is our economic sustainability, because once you allow us the opportunity with our economical standpoint, we are able to create our own social engagements. With our own financial economical resources, we can provide sufficiently and independently for ourselves and our family. And so many times we done got so caught up into want to be socially accepted. And see, sometimes when you focus more on socially being accepted, you miss the bigger mark of the picture, which can help create and build wealth for generations of persons. Unfortunately, we live in a society today that it takes financial resources to get things done. And if our ancestors would have not just worry about integrating our schools, because the real fight was not about the integration. The struggle was about just provide us with the information, the educational tools, the updated information to educate our children of color. But some of them got discombobulated and missed the mark that all we just wanted was just the resources. Because prior to this integration, black people, people of color, was so much more economically self-sufficient during the Reconstruction age. And we must understand our history, people, to understand the lessons to be learned and to make change in our environment. What drew about this change was the Dred Scott. Supreme Court at one time only considered us to be 3/4, 3/5 of a human. That led to the Civil War, where the African Americans or so-called Negro, people of color, the only nationality of people who really don't know and really understand their true ethnicity, who their true essence are. And from this Civil War, it led to the Reconstruction age where black people, people of color was in power. We had the Black Wall Street, Greenville. I mean, we had these things happening. But we fell into the trap. They had to we integrated. We had the Reconstruction first of all, and then it led to the 1877 Great Compromise. And this was the great setback of our people right there. That 1877 mark is what set us back. Because when that great act of the Great Compromise took place, it was a sellout, just as we see going on with these electoral votes of the college and the presidential elections and things like that. At this point of time, the civil rights activists had stood on the side as the Republican Party. But it was because of the actions of the Great Compromise that was a shifting and a changing of the party from Republican to Democrat. And Louisiana played a very, very important role in the outcome of this setback. Because it was through the Electoral College of Louisiana that allowed the Great Compromise, that was nothing that was officiated in writing but was verbally agreed with President Hayes, which set back the black people, because then the Reconstruction that we was promised was then ended. Then it led to the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Make no mistake, people, there were prior Civil Rights Acts, the 1950 Act, and so on. But the true change and identification of the remedy, see, we don't want to just treat the symptoms anymore. We need to get to the root, and that's why I went back to the history so you can understand the root of this diagnosis that we are suffering, called lack of economic sustainability.
Okay, we have a caller on the line.
Yes, how you doing?
Good morning. Go ahead on caller.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was listening to Miss Shondrell speaking, and I understand a little bit of what she's speaking of as though the heritage of the NAACP. And I'm agreeing with her that it was founded in 1909, and like she's saying, a lot has went on up until 1964 with a lot of changes that didn't necessarily enhance the black community. But what I would like to say, and this is no pun intended against you, Miss Shondrell, I take what you say lightly, but I'm just watching here with the NAACP, and where did they drop the ball when you stop securing the lives of these black families as opposed to being pressed out by the police killing them?
They dropped the
When
ball.
they
That's a
stop-
very, very
Yeah,
key in on that. They
they
dropped the
stopped
ball
paying
when the
attention.
wrong leadership took
Right.
place.
Now, I'm all about that too,
And let me
with the wrong
explain something.
leadership. But
You want clarity on something, and see, that's a very powerful question that you're presenting with the NAACP. We have several levels of the NAACP, and it all goes back to the representation of the leadership. I done heard oftentimes people say that St. John the Baptist Parish NAACP has accomplished a whole lot just to say we've been reactivated less than a year, even with COVID. The point that I'm trying to make is the leadership. See, some leadership gets so caught up with the political position and the economical growth, all the backdoor deals and all the political things that they speak against that we're not supposed to engage in, that are being entertained. Make no mistake, as president of the NAACP of St. John the Baptist Parish, nor our officers, none of us are monetarily compensated. Everything that we do is voluntarily. And I'm very appreciative of our Vice President, Reverend Dr. Reginald Holmes. Our second Vice President, educator, Darren Cook. Our treasurer, Larry Saraparu. Our parliamentarian, Latanya Creasy. Our secretary, Michelle Garrison. Our historian, George Handy. Our political action committee chairperson, Dr. Reverend Terry Lewis. See, leadership, it all goes back to the people that we surround ourselves connected to. Iron sharpen iron. And the thing about it is, I agree, there is more the NAACP should do for its people. And like I tell our local branch, we is in this together, but yet we by ourselves. National, make no mistake, they have a bigger agenda. And unfortunately, the local branches have to fend for themselves, raise the money, and don't make no mistake, there is millions of dollars in national. But the way that the organization is...
Can I interrupt you for a minute? When you just said that, you just pressed another button, because I'm like this here. You're talking about the national having all these monies, and then you talked about on your local branch, all these officers that can't make sure that you all are staffed, volunteering out your own pockets, next to nothing. What do you have to give these families when they're beyond grief with a loved one being killed by a cop that's supposed to be securing the neighborhood?
Well, what I can do...
Excuse me, wait, I wasn't finished. And the other thing was, when you was mentioning these local officers and stuff like this here, what do they do to make sure, or find a way to make sure that you all are compensated? Not only that, when you go out to the families' houses that's been stricken by grief, y'all don't even have an apple to bring. But yet, all these millions and billions of dollars are crossing over on the national level. Now, for me, myself, I understand you, young lady, you're trying to get here and do the right thing for the black people in the black neighborhoods. But I'm heading toward nationals. I'm beyond you all. I'm up to here.
And may I ask you, what parish are you affiliated with, ma'am?
I'm from Jefferson Parish, but in generally speaking, I'm nationwide.
No, I'm asking you a question. You're from Jefferson Parish?
Yes, born and raised.
I'm so sorry you have experienced the structure of leadership that you have been experiencing in Jefferson.
Let me tell you
but
something.
I can assure the residents of St. John, the Baptist Parish, they are well pleased.
Hold on 1 minute, ma'am.
We agreeing, but I'm 57 years young.
Ma'am, hold on 1 minute and just listen to me. What we need you to do is ask a specific question, and once you ask that specific question, allow her to answer your question.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I understand your frustration, but I just want to give clarity, because the Bible says our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and that God is not the author of confusion. And see, sometimes when we're speaking from an emotional perspective, because I at times become emotional, we miss the mark of the intelligence and the wisdom that the great divine is trying to establish within us. So what I'm saying is, it goes back to the leadership. That's why I asked, what parish were you from? Because sad to say that I'm just disturbed to find that you feel Jefferson's not doing enough. I was previously a member of Jefferson Branch, and I was very pleased with the outspokenness and the boldness of Madam Spiller. She was a woman of passion that did what she had to do to raise the funding independently to be a voice for the people. She was a very strong-minded, a very powerful leader who was often misunderstood. And I, too, understand that now, even as a leader in St. John the Baptist Parish. Sometimes when you for the right it's going to be very few by your side. See, as the Bible says, broad is the way of destruction, but narrow is the way to salvation. So the point that I'm trying to make is we don't have to get caught up with the big majority of numbers, because right there in the midst of you, just that minority is the Jew. Just it reminds me of with Jesse, when Samuel the prophet went to choose David, and he presented every other child before. Jesse presented every child, and the prophet said, no, there's another. He said, no, you can't be talking about my baby boy. He's a sheep keeper, not David. Oh, no, he's not even presentable. And Samuel said, thus says the Lord, that's the one I want. Oh, no, not David, the speech impediment. He's a rooting. The point that I'm trying to make is, it goes to the anointed and the appointed by God to be a leadership to get an effective result. And from my understanding, Jefferson Parish has a newly elected president who we are intending to work very closely with. But I know firsthand that Madam Spiller have fought for a variety of families who have lost their family members. We cannot bring back a life, but what we can do is change the next life. Because when we go out and we represent people, you must understand, on the local level, we're not being paid for this. If you look at any other organizations and any other political standpoint, everybody that's claiming they are out there for the people, by the people, are being paid. When you have truth servants that are sacrificing their time, their personal money to serve you with no monetary gain, you got to know that that person had to be anointed and appointed by God. Because just because you have leadership out there, you need to sit back and ask yourself the question, and not just you, just all the listeners out there. Where would that leadership be when your money get cut off?
Okay,
when
hold on 1 minute. We have another caller on the line, so we would like to entertain that caller too.
Yes. And
Thank
ma'am, I
you,
hope
caller,
it was
and we'd like to get you in at another time, but we need to take another call. Caller?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Sir, we're listening to you.
Go ahead on, caller. Could you hear me, caller? Go ahead on.
Yeah, I can hear you now. How y'all doing? Good, happy Monday morning.
Good morning. Grand Rising.
It's a great day to be alive always. Listen, I'm listening to the conversation with the NAACP and the reputation of the NAACP and where the NAACP come from and how far the NAACP is going beyond 2020. I'm listening to you, my sister, talking about people volunteering their time to be servants in our to provide a service in our community for those who need the leadership. The NAACP is a great organization in our community, but it's predicated on the leadership of that particular organization. Am I off base with this right here?
You right on point, sir. That's the same thing that I just mentioned to the lady on the phone. The NAACP, yes, the name itself has a great recognition. I was offered to reactivate, not to cut you off, but I just want to get you some clarity so you can see the point that I'm really trying to get the public to understand. I was confronted 2 years prior to, and because of the reputation of the NAACP, I told them I would not do it. I was not interested because I had other things going and I was already engaging. But it took the experience that I had with a business dealing to understand that the struggle is really real, and somebody still need to be a voice for the people. So if I have to use the platform of the name recognition of the NAACP to get the attention of the people that is decision makers and influencers for our people, I would do just that, just to bring about the corrective action, the accountability, and the change that we need for our people. See, there's a lack of genuineness, and that's why it's so hard for people to trust people, because, see, everything somebody do most of the time come with a condition. But when you have somebody that's speaking out, that is answering and responding to a call, it's kind of hard sometimes to identify. That's why I often inform the individual.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. It took you a minute to get the NAA. I want to ask you two questions and possibly a follow-up. But my first question is this. Does St. John the Baptist Parish needs a chapter of the NAACP in the community? Is there a need for the NAACP in that community?
Oh, greatly need. I briefly when we came on, St. John the Baptist Parish is a very historical branch of the NAACP because it was established in 1940 with Thurgood Marshall and Edward Hall, which our parish set precedent for voter right for the blacks that was responsible
My,
for precedent throughout the whole United States. And yes,
and
we
that's
do.
that's that's some history for 'em. That's some real history for 'em out there, just in case people didn't know. With a man like Thurgood Marshall in the history, I think the history needs to be taught to our youth so that they can fully understand it. What is the involvement with the state branch in this branch? Has the state branch provided any funding or any resources to help this branch get back reestablished, if I can use that word, reestablished or reopened?
I'm gonna just be real and truthful with you. No, they have not, but the support, the social support, I'm very impressed with our state president. They have extended nothing but accessibility and support. But let me give you some clarity. People may not understand this, but it seems that you do. We as a local branch, we are on our own monetarily, okay? We were fortunate, even though our branch had to be reactivated, our elders left us with money to sustain ourselves. And with that money, we used wisdom. We didn't go out renting buildings and buying up all kind of stuff. No. What we did was we went to places to cut expenses and utilize the educational and the library, public facilities to not take advantage of the little resource that was available for us to really, once we got reactivated. To this day, National still owe us
I think what he's asking you is that how does the national branch support the local branch as far as funding them in the event that something did happen in that area? If something happened in that area, then how is it that the national branch will support the local branch to aid them in whatever their endeavors are?
Well, to be honest with you, we don't see that done, but if the time come, I will take the initiative to contact National. It's my understanding they receive millions of dollars of contributions, especially with the increase of membership when the incident happened with George Floyd. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we are on our own. We have to. Yes.
And I had one more. Question, a follow-up question. Yeah, I heard you say earlier that you all don't get paid. Your time is strictly volunteer. You get resources from the community, donations from different organizations and different businesses to help out with your particular branch. Does anyone in the state of Louisiana get paid as an administrative leader in the NAACP organization? Does anybody? Does the state president get paid to do what he does?
According to our bylaws, that the only person that get paid as CEO and president of the national is Derek. Our president.
That's all. That's the only question. I just wanted to know that, and it's not an indictment on anybody. I'm not trying to, throw shade on nobody. I just want to know so that we have transparency with the organization and who's responsible for what and who's getting paid. Now, like you said, I totally respect you for being honest and telling us what's going on, because it's not about putting the NAACP down. It's clear that the NAACP has a lot of history in our community in helping families get what they need, the justice or resources they need to move forward and having a better quality of life. But there's a clear divide with the NAACP and the African American community as well. And I just want to have a little bit of transparency in the conversation
and it's sad
ask
to
tough
say.
questions.
And I don't mean to cut you
And
off.
I'm gonna hang up and listen to the rest of y'all conversation.
Okay, and then I'm glad he brought up a good point, because it's sad to say money changes the position of certain people, and greed is a major way of destruction. And I thank God that He did not present me with a greedy spirit, because if it was about money, nothing would get done, because we have no support outside of us supporting ourselves. When we collect our memberships, National get $18.10 of our dues, and we get the difference of the $30. So we even with our membership dues, we are getting less than 50%. And just to make this clear, we're not throwing the NAACP under the bus, because what I am saying is that St. John the Baptist Parish NAACP, we stand aside and uniquely. We are transparent. We are getting things done. We have only been reactivated for a year. We done had several media coverages. In fact, we are helping some major cases in light of the Ramos versus Louisiana. We are helping and assisting with the Cardell Hayes case, the Arrow Victor, and the Corey Miller case that were all affected by the 10-10 non-unanimous jury verdicts. Mr. Hayes just had a very, very important hearing proceeding that was very favorable to him, to where there will be pretty soon a judgment rendered to vacate and remain. We continue to stand. I've been reaching out to the newly elected district attorney's office to assure that Mr. Hayes receives justice. He has been incarcerated for over 4 years. And no, he is not in my district. With the NAACP, they usually want us to deal within our local areas.
Okay, hold on for 1 minute. We have to take a break. And as soon as we come back from the break, we'll continue.
With our guest, Ms. Perrilloux, president of St. John, the parish president. We'll be right back.
Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We just stand up and fight, walk into the light.
Hi, I'm Christine Penn, and Nola, I want you to get ready for an all-new talk experience, Women of Significance, on the New Orleans Talk Network. Each week, we're covering new topics, new guests, new trends, and message of the day with me, your host, Christine Penn. So Nola, tune in each week on the New Orleans Talk Network, where we use our voice with power, with purpose.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Bethesda House of Prayer. Bethesda is a church for non-traditional worshipers, a church designed for those who love God's Word. Would you like to attend a church where believers and non-believers can choose to worship together? A church where cultural differences does not get in the way of God's message. We invite you to be our special guest. Our services begin 9 a.m. on Sunday, located at 7601 West Bank Expressway, Suite B, Marrero, Louisiana. For more information, contact us at 504-348-0132.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
Listen, and you're watching Church Without Walls in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We have our special guest today, the president of St. John NAACP president, Ms. Perrilloux, and she have been very clear in her vision for her parish. So we have a caller on that want to say hello. Go ahead on, caller.
Caller?
Today.
Sir?
We hear you. Go on, caller.
You were talking earlier about the economic things that the NAACP is steering to do, and I thought you were on some good positive things. Got a little bit sidetracked, appears to be. Some of the economic things you're looking at doing in St. John Parish, how would it affect or impact the West Bank of St. John Parish, which appears to be lagging behind the East Bank?
Well, that's a great question, because I'm the president of the NAACP for not just the East Bank, but inclusive of the West Bank. And what we intend to do is to make assurance that the West Bank no longer continue to be left behind and not being updated as advanced as the East Bank. They are very a close-knit community. The West Bank of St. John the Baptist Parish has a deep root to the building of the foundation of St. John the Baptist Parish. In fact, our courthouse is still on the West Bank. But I want people that's listening under the sound of my voice to understand that with leadership, it plays a role. And I hear oftentimes they say the NAACP. See, the thing about it is, yes, we are all many branches of one tree. But just because we are just a branch of a tree does not mean we don't have the capabilities to get things done for the people. Because most of the time when you call in national, they're going to ask you what's your local location. And once you give them that location, they leave that to us as the locals to handle the task, except when it's dealing with litigations. Make no mistake, I'm far from being a fool of understanding the ideology behind what's going on, but my main concern is being a voice for the voiceless and providing equal economical sustainability for our people, for our community. So I'm not going to get distracted about what national is and is not doing. My key role is to be responsible for the actions and the decisions that I make, for the choices that I make, for the people who nominated and elected me to be their leader, because they realized the unique gift. They didn't join the NAACP. They enjoined a vision of a leader that have encouragement and a motivation to take the NAACP to another level. The NAACP goes back to the point of leadership, effective leadership, because there's all sorts of leadership. And one main factor is the problem in some of our leadership. It has been compromised because of monetary greed. And when we are supposed to be here serving people, that is our key goal, to serve people without any hidden agenda, but to create a way that they can make it and to provide them with information that can make their lives better. Why is it that the same people that are electing people into leadership, without a follower, there is no leader? You are only as effective as the people that are following. So why is it that some of us get amnesia once we get elected to key positions to make a difference for our people? We get so caught up with self-interest. That's problematic. That's why some people get hesitant about joining the NAACP. But when persons such as myself and other true trailblazers arrive on the scene, it's no more foolishness. It's all about the people's agenda. And until we as leaders understand that without the people, we are nothing. We are here to serve people. When you are in leadership, it is designed for you to lead effective, to bring people up to your standard and not to keep your foot on their necks. And that's the point that I'm trying to make today, sir. I'm fighting strongly for economic sustainability because I strongly believe with economic sustainability, we can create our own social engagement. We can create our own future and agendas. We don't need them dictating what we can and cannot do because they're keeping us limited for our economic.
Can I ask you a question, ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question? Does the St. John branch of the NAACP have a website?
Yes, we have a website. It's sjbpnaacp.org, and our vision is there, and it was clear cut. When they interviewed me, I made it clear to the media and everyone else that the newly revived NAACP of St. John has an agenda, and that's to hold government accountability and to provide economic sustainability for the people. See, it's time now for the leadership to be exposed.
I hear you constantly say about corruption and leadership. Did I hear you say earlier in the show that one of the reasons you got involved in an NAACP was because of some business deal or some economic problem that you faced?
Yes, I didn't believe that in this day and time we were still programs that were designed to help minority businesses were being dictated by malicious and, sad to say, people of our own color that were doing things that were just so awful to stagnate the growth of a program that was designed to be successful, that was proving to be successful because of jealousy and animosity and personal vendettas. They just started doing very vicious and attackful things to where I realized the injustice. I heard oftentimes people complaining, but never thought that what I would have to one day face this. So when
can I do a follow-up question? So your ascendancy to the presidency of the NAACP is directly correlated to an economic problem that you faced.
Not for me. I was fine for what the people engaged, all the other contractors. I was very successful. But what I witnessed my people going through, I could no longer allow it to happen because, as you see, I'm a very talkative and outspoken person. And I'm even more passionate, especially when I see a lot of injustices that were taking place. So that stirred me and motivated me to say, yes, I would answer the call to be the spokesman of the NAACP of St. John. I know firsthand that there are injustices going on in programs that the government designed for minority set-asides that are really being compromised. And somebody needs to sound the alarm. And that somebody just happened to be me, that had all the facts together, and not for my selfish gain, because I've never been a person of greed. It was what I was seeing that my young black men going through. I'm a female black contractor, and I just was so disturbed to see how the ego and the pride of our black men were being stripped at the hand stroke of a pen of black women that had the power to be able to help these companies grow and would not do anything about it. So that's what made me answer the call to say, you know what? I don't agree with everything the NAACP is doing, but guess what? I'm going to accept the call because guess what? When they realize that the NAACP of St. John the Baptist Parish is doing, and it's not about money because things are being done without begging for money, but just from voluntarily actions. For example, we have a case before us, error victim. This man case has been remanded back from the Supreme Court, vacated. He's in my district, St. John the Baptist Parish. Excuse me. Mr. Victor has been fighting for his rights. He had a 10-10 verdict. He represented himself pro se and came with a 10-10 verdict. He was still on a direct appeal. And these people have done such a great injustice to this man, even in the judicial system, to where I just find it gravely disturbing. Because this man is sitting in prison for a life sentence from an unconstitutional verdict, from injustices from the foundation of his case. This man, if you research, I don't want to go into too many details, if you research the circumstances surrounding his case, you'll see how disturbing it is. For one, I could not understand for the like of things, how can one judge be presiding over a case, and after they dismiss the case, mysteriously in the same district court, mysteriously judges are now being pulled? Allegedly being pulled because you didn't get the outcome you wanted to get. So now they move from a black judge, female court, into a Caucasian woman court who is now retired. I just, for the likes of me, I could not understand it. And to this day, I need answers. We need answers to understand. How can you, normally when you're in proceedings, the same judge, whether you have to go to appellate levels or even Supreme Court levels, remains in the same division. So what is it that his case had to be shifted from one judge to another?
We have another call on the line. So we're going to allow this caller to get in because we're getting close to our time. We're going to allow that caller to come in. Ask the caller to ask his question, and after you ask your question, then you can hang up and listen to the comment.
The following program is recorded.
Go ahead on, caller.
Caller, are you still there?
You on the line, caller.
Do we have another caller?
You hung up?
Did you get another one in? Hello.
Caller, are you there?
While we trying to get the call to come in, we come to the end of the show. The caller, you know,
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, this is Miss Robinson.
Yes, Miss Robinson. How are you?
I'm calling. I didn't hear everything said to Fairy Ray said, but I'm calling because some of the things she said is good, but the national, I still don't have no confidence in the national branch of the NAACP.
And I truly understand, and I will.
Because my son died and Miss Gayla Spiller walked with us for 2 years and 6 months, and we never got. I called the national branch of the NAACP and told him my situation. Before I could tell him that, he asked me after I told him, he asked me what I want him to do.
Wow, I'm so
What I
sorry.
want you to do, I want you to help me. That's what I want you to do.
I'm so sorry you had to experience such humiliation. But for one thing, we must understand. First of all, even the Bible tells you, put no trust in no man. You got to
That's
trust
right.
in the God in that man or woman, because
That's right.
you're not
And
the
that's
first
why I
person
think
that
we
spoke
gonna we
this.
gonna get have accountability for this case, and we gonna get justice for my grandson. That's who I'm depending on. But I have no trust in the NAACP national branch till they show me better.
And we will be writing national and letting them know that the people are very disturbed, because we don't just need to be the NAACP by letters. We must be NAACP by actions. Where's the wisdom has said, you shall know them by their works. And Madam Spiller
And everybody,
is a bold soldier, and she has
and
fought
everybody.
for the people.
Everybody's so down on Miss Gayla Spiller, but Miss Gayla Spiller was the only person that came to my family for day one, and she stuck with us for 2 years and 6 months, tirelessly walking and protesting with us.
And a house divided up against itself cannot stand. And see, what we have to understand is, just because we are different branches of the NAACP, please, people, don't single us out just because of the misfortune or unfairly treatment you receive from the national level. Because just as I just mentioned, I went in someone else's district to help individuals where they local NAACP just said they were just another nigga going by the wayside. Another black
Yeah.
person get caught up in the system,
I would
and I
think,
felt
And
offended
I,
by that.
I would think that some of the local branches of the NAACP should kind of unitize themselves to work together to get some of the cases that are not being overlooked by the national to come together as a unit to work to see about getting some of these things done that are going on in the black community uh, and see how we can handle it and straight it. We have to form some kind of unity
Right. And that's
within
what we
these
have.
organizations.
And that's what
And
we have been doing, the sisterhood, with I'm trying to get all the other presidents involved to interact, to support each other, and stop being separate, me, myself, and I is about a we thing. And I've been working on trying to be supportive of the other branches. And I get what you're saying, but it's a bad reflection when you have people saying the NAACP, when we have to understand there are levels of the NAACP: national, local, national, state, and local.
I called all of them, and none of them gave me an answer back.
Well, we just have another upcoming election for the board of directors. Hopefully, we'll have
okay,
some major
tell you what you
changes.
can do, man. Why don't you uh, look on her website and get her email. She's gonna
No,
give you her email.
I'm not gonna do that. I pay my money faithfully every year. My whatever you pay yearly, and they won't be getting no more of my money until they show me better. After this year, I'm out there in NAACP.
And I totally understand your position. I thank God we don't have those situations in St. John, because it's never been about money with us. I know
Well,
people folks on lawsuit.
I pay my money to the NAACP, the national branch, not the local. So let me get that right.
Right, because we don't want people to get us mixed up the local level because we are actually the
No, I
ones that's
pay
the
my money to
forerunners.
the national branch, not the local. I give donations if I choose to when on the branch when I Miss Filler, but I pay my money to national.
Well, I can assure you this: St. John the Baptist Parish must be doing something right because we have one of the highest number of a reactivation in the state of Louisiana, and we constantly are still steady growing because the people are actually watching the actions. We just recently had the FBI forum. We were presented with a symbol of a token and been assigned a liaison for the FBI's civil rights and public corruption. So we are doing things. This is a
Well,
branch.
I'm gonna tell you the things I saw from me going to the meeting, and I attended every meeting. They got too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Well, I don't understand what meeting you attended because St. John meetings we have been having it on the telephones, and we just started in person. I'm so
You
sorry
know,
you're going.
you know me. You know
Yeah, I used to
I
be a
sit in
member of
court with you with
Jefferson.
Miss Ryan, Miss Filler.
Yes, I used to be a member of Jefferson, but there was so much
Yeah,
controversy, and I'm a very
and I
peaceful
sit in court
person.
with you, me and Miss Filler. You
Yes.
know me.
Right, and you would know me by my actions that I'm not a person that will choose sides or be favoritism or call it for what it is. Madam Spiller is a
Well,
very powerful woman,
and when I went to Baton Rouge, I saw a lot of favoritism in the NAACP.
and I'm so sorry. I'm so
With Mike
sorry you feel that.
Callahan, I'm talking to him. He ignoring me. He talking to this Thurley family. My grandson was killed, brutalized by the police.
And I truly understand, but what we must come to also understand is we put our burdens, and I hope this don't get out of content of the point that I'm trying to make. It's unfortunate you lost your grandson
Mm-hmm.
to at the hands of law enforcement. But what you have to understand is it goes back to understanding everything you need is already within you if you connected to God, the strength, the peace,
Oh,
whatever it
I
is you
know that
need.
already,
So
dude. I know that. That's why I worry about it. That's why I
it's
really don't need to be with the
it's nothing
NAACP. I
they
know
can
that
do
already.
monetarily.
Let me say this, caller. No organization at this point is perfect, and that's from the White House down to local, state government.
Who am I
No,
talking to?
you're talking to Reverend Williams.
Okay, Mr. Williams.
No organization is perfect, and within
I know.
every organization, you're gonna have some people who are fighting against things, some people who will not allow things to go the way it's supposed to go. So everything's not gonna go the way it's supposed to go all the time. But we don't want to harm an organization that's trying to uh, rectify some things. So, I understand what you're saying and your feelings and everything that you have right now, but be considerate of the people who are actually trying to make a difference in the society, in the community, and whatnot.
And I never think like that. I don't have none. This Shondrell is a smart woman.
And I appreciate the compliments
You
that
know?
people give me, but I'm humble. But there's a great responsibility because when I took that oath to serve people, I made a commitment to God first and to
I
myself.
went out. I went out and got people to join the NAACP. I thought they was good. I was happy, but I don't have nothing against the local people. I'm just saying what they didn't do for my family,
Right, but I
and
can tell you this.
so they showed me better.
I can tell you this. Anyone that's under the sound of my voice, I apologize for the unknown and the known, whatever leadership of the NAACP has done. But what I can assure you, that if any problem you have, don't hesitate to pick up the call. Anyone that knows Shondrell Perrilloux knows that she answers her phone. If there's any problem, it doesn't matter if you're not a member of the NAACP. We still assist people. It doesn't matter if you're not a resident of St. John the Baptist Parish. I am a person for people. Before the NAACP, I was already a civil rights activist. So what the NAACP won't do, my organization will do. So that way, I'm letting you know as the community.
Okay. We have we're sure it's getting ready to end. We have another call on the line, 9420. 9420. We're going to try to get that call on. Caller, we appreciate you calling. We appreciate your comment.
Thank you,
If
Ms.
that
Robinson.
if that caller is still there, caller, will you? We're listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, that.
That's it.
Okay,
I
he
just I
called.
just want to
Okay,
close.
Okay.
let me say this real quick. Miss Robinson on the phone. Just want her to know that that people praying for her and her family know what they done been through, and that regardless who you are, and what happened in your life, God have His own way of
Rectifying.
rectify things, and we want to say to Miss Robinson her dedication, and if she keep on praying and believing in God and keep on speaking out, she'll get some action. And we at the New Orleans network over here, New Orleans Talk Network and Church Without Wall, we have your family in prayer. We may not seem like that, Dr. William and I. We not real vocal out there hollering, screaming, but we here on Monday trying to get justice for people and feel free. Any family feel that their family being unfair treated, you're welcome to call the New Orleans Talk Network, and we have many shows that come on here. So we just want Church Without Walls. So we have to end this today. And before we end, if the producer, we don't went over time, I want to give Ms. Perrilloux the platform to end. Could you,
Put your
Ms.
website
Perrilloux, tell
on.
the people more about yourself, your phone number if they want to contact you?
Anyone that's facing any, and I appreciate the time we spent. I hope that I could come back because really there's so much that information that could be beneficial to people that really needs to be shared. It's that I'm accepting and understanding of people's emotional standpoint, but we need to get to a point of correcting the situations, and that's what I'm here to do, to help heal. So anyone that you may know somebody that's facing any injustices, take a note of my number. You can contact me 504-232-0966. Shondrell Perrilloux, president of St. John the Baptist Parish, NAACP. Our website, just Googling St. John the Baptist Parish, our website gonna pull up. It's sjbnacp.org. Just key it in. We're gonna pop up. We are out running for people, being a voice for people. So I'm so sorry for whatever other branch ain't doing what they supposed to be doing or need to be doing. But one thing I can assure you, St. John the Baptist Parish, NAACP, is doing what we are called to do with no hidden agendas, no monetary agendas. I'm not on here today to ask you for any money. All I'm doing is asking you to just, how can I serve you? How can we make things right for you? Call me, 504-232-0966. Email me, Shondrell, NAACP, 6077 at gmail.com. Shondrell, NAACP, 6077 at gmail.com. I would love to come back on live and have a more professional broadcast with actually giving solutions and remedies to problems, because I'm not here to spin our wheels. I come to give results. I understand people got problems and issues and they're in their feelings, but right now it's not time to be in your feelings. It's time to be in your intellect so that you can hear clearly from the divine wisdom of God. I don't mean to come up to be as an arrogant or prideful person, but I'm just very straightforward. I have no time to mislead anyone. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to be a willing vessel for you. Call me, 504-232-0966, and I appreciate the time. It was well spent.
And as always, you know how we end our show. There's no such thing as being half dead.
If you dead, you're dead.
Amen.
And we're also going to have Ms. Perrilloux to come back at a later time because we had a lot of technical difficulty today. So we're going to invite you back to the show to straighten out a few things. We love y'all. Have a beautiful,
too, I would love to come back on.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's. I really would like
everybody. God bless you.
Bless y'all. Yeah, it's 'cause